Hello, welcome to this edition of Coach's Corner. I'm Kellen Gursky, and joining me at this time, as always, head ball coach Scott Bendel. Coach, how we doing?
Kellen, looking good, buddy.
Oh, thank you. You as well.
Thank you, man.
Before we get into the interview, let's take a look at some of the highlights that happened this past Saturday against Grove City.
Saturday, October 14th, Westminster College football team hosted Grove City for their homecoming game. Grove City started the game up 13-0 after a 1-yard touchdown run by Schools and 2 field goals from Causey. But Westminster found their groove in the second quarter. Senior Paul Colombo got the Titans on the board with a monster 89-yard run into the end zone. He threw for 231 on the day. Just over a minute later, Colombo added a 66-yard pass to his stats, completed to Connor Cox, who ran and put the Titans up by 1 at the half, and Westminster never looked back. Zaire Williams opened up the second half scoring with a 9-yard TD pass from Colombo, Titans up 8. Bobby Noble would add a block kick to his day, but Grove City would get the ball back. Gustafson would get the ball to LeBrie to cut Grove City's deficit to just 2. Cox would add another touchdown, followed by Jeter with a 33-yard pick 6. Paulinelli would add a 23-yard reception to the point total, and Bentley would round out the scoring with an 8-yard run, giving the Titans a 49-27 victory.
And as you saw it there, Westminster defeats Grove City 49-27. Coach, the game started a little differently than a lot of people probably would have imagined it to.
Not me.
I'm sure not you. But Grove City jumped out to an early 10-0 lead in the first quarter. What did they do so well offensively and defensively? They really kind of had an answer to start the game off.
They decided that they were going to play.
Yeah.
We didn't. And so they lined up and punched us in the face, and we sat there and took it. You could tell kids, you know, at 18 to 22, what they need to do and how they need to prepare. And the reality is, you know, sometimes they're going to not listen. And I think they got our attention. I was really proud of the way we responded, obviously. But Grove City's a much better football team. I knew they were. Again, it's a lot like when we were starting to come up. A lot of teams didn't anticipate us having that type of an effort and that type of talent. And we caught some teams off guard. And they did the same to us, so lesson learned.
All right, and it kind of stayed that way for most of the second quarter as well, but then with 2:05 to go, Paul Colombo has an 89-yard quarterback draw for a touchdown. How big was that, obviously, to get your guys back into the ball game? And in my opinion, it was one of the turning points in the game.
Yeah, it was huge. You know, you're in a situation where you're kind of scrapping a little bit, and one play, you know, and 89 yards later, all of a sudden there's energy. Everybody kind of gets back in and gets reinvested. And the swings of college football, the momentum, in any sport, to be honest with you, it's you got to get on that roller coaster, and we got back on it, and that was the result.
And that play was featured on NCAA's top plays of the week.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Number 9.
Yeah.
And I know you guys love that quarterback draw. You guys use it when you're backed up, third and long, whatever it is. And obviously in that situation, it called for it. Did you expect it to go for 89 and a touchdown?
No, but you know, it's funny. So was that 4 years ago? Grove City, right? He ran a 92, which was a school record. So it's kind of interesting. If you can do it once, you have the ability to do it again. So Paul's always he's a weapon with that feet. I mean, he can really hurt teams, and if you don't account for him, there's the result.
Yeah. And then with 55 seconds to go in the first half, Colombo added again, this time a 66-yard pass to Connor Cox for a touchdown. Obviously, that got you guys back into the ball game. How big was that play, and what led to that play being called?
So, you know, we had single coverage with the safety kind of sort of hugging the center fielder a little bit, and I know Connor had been verbalizing that play's there. You know, give me a shot, give me a shot, and we executed it perfectly, blocked it up, and it was a great ball, run and catch. And one of the things we always want to do is be an aggressive team, particularly on the perimeter, and it was there, and we took it.
All right, so that made the score 14-13, as I said at the end of the first half. How did you feel at the end of the first half?
A different conversation going in up 1 than down 13. I think you know, as a head coach, really, you got to really check the temperature of the team. You know, do I need to pump them up? Do I need to chew them out? Do I need to, hey, guys, we're okay? The energy was good. It was back. I think we were a little disappointed, but we made some adjustments, particularly on our defensive side of the ball. Here's some things that, you know, they were doing to hurt us, and we came up with a pretty good plan and settled us in. And the result was we came out and had a really good third quarter and kind of put that game back out.
And you mentioned that the guys went on a nice run, 35-14 in the second half. That's pretty darn good. What was the difference between, you know, the first half and the second half? Was there a difference?
Yeah, I think that again, we made a few things on a defensive adjustments to try to slow down the one-on-one matchups that they were getting. We started getting more vision in the back end, and that helps versus you know playing a little bit more aggressively. So. And then offensively, we started to run the ball, you know, started wearing them down a little bit. And then when you have a two-headed attack now, big plays start to open themselves back up. So that sort of just settled in, and we got back to doing what we do.
And the defense, as we've been talking about, was tested early on, but you know, down the stretch of the game really got a lot better. And Todd Jeter, another pick six. He's currently second in the country in pick sixes. How big is it not only to have a guy that can play great coverage, anytime he gets his hands on the ball, he can take it to the house?
Yeah, I will tell you statistically, if a defense scores a touchdown, they have almost a 90% chance of winning a football game. So every single time Todd throughout his career has done that, with the exception, believe it or not, in 15 at W&J. He took one back to the house, and we ended up losing that 35-31. It's been it's a weapon, and teams have to be aware of it. It's not only just throw it out there and hope he doesn't get his hands on it, but it's throw it out there and look out, because if it isn't a quarterback or a skill guy that can run him down, it's certainly not going to be a lineman. So it's a chance to win.
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. Grove City had 2 receivers go over the 100-yard mark in that ball game. You know, going into a game against W&J, does that at all worry you?
No, I've been in the secondary business for a long time, and you're going to get beat. It happens. You know, the thing you can't do is you can't get too low and you can't get too high. We have to clean some things up.
Right.
When we don't jam and we don't reroute people and we stare and we let people turn games into flag football, we are not a big back end. We have little guys back there. So we lose a lot of size, and so for us, our quickness, best scenario I tell you, we and you are playing basketball. You want to keep me out of the paint. Their receivers were 6'1", 6'2" guys, and we were letting them get in the paint, and they were throwing lobs, and that's the result. So we have to do a better job of that.
Okay. So since I mentioned this weekend, coming into this game, you guys travel to Washington and play W&J.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. You know that. 15 in the country, obviously. A team that's, you know, for many years have been very, very good. You guys have played them extremely well the last 2 years. What's the mindset of the team going in?
Yeah, the mindset is, I think, you know, we're excited. We're maybe too excited. You know, we've got to just relax a little bit and understand that you're going into a hostile environment. They've won 28 games down there. They're ranked. All that stuff is, you know, kids, me included, we all feel that, and we all are aware of it. But, you know, in the end, I know it's cliche, but you just got to play the game.
Right,
I mean, Thomas More, the formula was awesome. Our guys were cool, calm, collected. We made plays, and we just kept chipping away, and we have to play the same way.
And you kind of touched on this. You know, you guys in that win last year against W&J, first time in a very long time. Does that at all play into this?
Yeah. We know we can beat them, and they know we can beat them.
Right.
So, you know, I don't shy away from that at all. That formula is there. The blueprint is there. We just have to follow the blueprint and execute our game plan, and we can do it, you know, for sure.
So talking about W&J, we know they're a very good team. What makes them so good?
They're well coached. They have a lot of belief. You know, they're multi-talented in terms of offensively. They can hurt you in a lot of different ways. They're doing a much better job of spreading the ball out. The quarterback's a good football player. He's not like Coughlin in the sense that he's a bigger kid with a bigger arm, so he's more of a pocket guy. So that gets your attention. And honestly, they don't get enough credit on the defensive side of the ball. They don't talk a lot about their defense, but their defense is really active. They're very, very aggressive. They stun a ton, and they run to the ball. So they're a complete team.
All right, so what are some of the keys to victory, both offensively and defense, to slow W&J down?
Let's talk about stopping their offense. First and foremost, we have to, like I said, we got to reroute. We've got to be physical. We can't let these guys turn this into a flag football game. We've got to hit their quarterback. And on the other side of the ball, their defense stunts themselves into trouble at times. If we can sustain the first wave, meaning we can just sort of get that second and a half extra, there's some, when you're a super aggressive defense, you live by the sword, die by the sword. There's some things behind them that we can exploit, and I'm looking forward to seeing if we can get it done.
All right, so this season already, rapidly starting to close. You guys coming into the stretch here, three pretty good teams down the stretch. Oh, yeah. What would a win against W&J do, not only for the team, but for Westminster football?
Oh, that's a really good question. This is the first time I've ever been stumped. What it would do for us is keep us in the hunt. I'm not going to emphasize or place any higher importance with this game to the next game and the next game. Our goal is to win a championship, and if you're going to win a championship, you have to take them one at a time. Last year we won WJ, and we all wanted to throw a parade, and the next week we got beat by Carnegie Mellon. Right. So, again, I think our kids start to – history has a tendency to teach us lessons. So I'm hoping we understand it. It'd be a nice win. We get a chance to beat a ranked team. We get a chance to stop a home winning streak. We get a chance to beat a rivalry.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. You already have played one ranked team this year in Wittenberg and lost. Does that, I know for you it probably doesn't change anything, but for the guys, do you think, playing one ranked opponent, is it good to play another one?
Yeah, boy, again, I look like a genius right now with scheduling Wittenberg because I scheduled that game for Thomas More.
Right.
And I think it really helped us. You want to play the best so you understand that environment. And so I think that experience is going to help us. And so we go in against a ranked team, to us, we've done that, been there. We just got to finish now.
Right. All right. Well, that will be about it here on this segment of Coach's Corner. Coach, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Coming up next will be the Pack Report. Stay tuned.
College Emmy winner.
Television Academy's Award for Outstanding Documentary.
Award for Best Television Special.
CBI winner for Best TV Reporting.
CBI winner for Best TV Public Service Announcement.
VEA Special Recognition for Outstanding Cinematography.
Best Television Promo.
Festival of Media Arts Award for Best Music Video.
Best TV Feature Reporting. Recognized for excellence. Broadcast and digital communications at Westminster College. Proud of our students and proud of our graduates. WCProud.com.
Welcome to the PAC Football Report for October 21st, 2017. I'm Emily Bondi. This week we will take a quick look back at last week's football action in the President's Athletic Conference while also previewing this Saturday's games. With 4 weeks to go in the regular season, 3 teams remain tied at the top of the PAC standings with unbeaten league records. W&J broke open a close game at the half to win at Bethany 49-14, while Westminster overcame an early 13-0 deficit to defeat Grove City 49-27. Case Western Reserve kept pace with a 63-28 road decision over Teal. In other action, Carnegie Mellon outlasted Geneva 42-27, while Thomas More rolled past Waynesburg 59-7. St. Vincent had the weekend off. PAC Offensive Player of the Week honors went to Case Western Reserve Rob Kuda, who completed 17 of 22 passes for 343 yards and 5 touchdowns, and also ran for a score in the first half alone at Teal. Defensive laurels went to Westminster cornerback Todd Jeter with 4 tackles and a 33-yard interception return for a touchdown versus Grove City. Special teams recognition went to CMU running back Rory Hubbard, who posted a 92-yard kickoff return touchdown versus Geneva. Rookie of the Week for the second straight week went to W&J freshman running back E.J. Thompson with 14 rushes for 65 yards and a score at Bethany. Week 8 on October 21st boasts a 5-game slate highlighted by a battle of PAC co-leaders as 6-0 W&J hosts 5-1 Westminster for a homecoming at Cameron Stadium in Washington at 2 p.m. The Presidents dominated the all-time series, but the Titans defeated the Presidents for the first time since 2000 last season with a 16-10 decision in New Wilmington. Westminster head coach Scott Benzel previews the matchup.
Well, anytime you play W&J, you got to deal with that offense. It's pretty pretty potent. They can get you in some situations where I don't think we want to get in a track meet with them and attack the scoreboard at the pace that they're doing. So our formula has always been, play solid defense, run the football, particularly against the better teams. And, obviously W&J, their defense is going to have a lot to dictate to what we're trying to do as well.
Having recovered from their early season skid, 3-4, Thomas More looks for its third straight win when the Saints host 2-4 St. Vincent at BB&T Field in Crestview Hills at 12 noon. The big news out of Kentucky this week was the announcement on Monday that veteran Saint head coach Regis Scaife will retire at the end of the 2017 season, to be replaced by offensive coordinator Trevor Stellman. For Scaife, the timing was right to bring a long coaching career to a close.
It's just time, kind of a family decision, and I don't know, if Father Time marches on, so you got to kind of come to terms with it, I guess, And the situation here is so good because of Coach Trevor Stellman and Chris Norwell and the coaches in place. They're ready, so it's just a great fit for me to walk out and turn the program over to them.
Teal will look for success under the Alumni Stadium lights Saturday night as the 1-5 Tomcats host 6-1 Carnegie Mellon at 7 p.m. It's the 44th all-time meeting between the programs in a series that began in 1915. The Tartans have won the last two meetings with the Tomcats, including a 49-33 decision in Pittsburgh in 2016. Tomcat head coach Dan Bloom hopes an expected large crowd for Teal's annual night game helps give his team a spark against the Tartans.
I think we like to approach it like it's any other game, but there's definitely a different feel and different atmosphere when you play under the lights. And, like you said, I think we hit on it before. It's, the Friday night lights thing in Western Pennsylvania is a huge thing. So I think that carries over to the college atmosphere. When you get guys under the lights, the fans, the players, and everyone involved just kind of has a little extra energy for games. Practice by practice, game by game, play by play, we're just hammering home, play to the best of your ability, continue to improve.
Finally, 6-0 Case Western Reserve put its unbeaten mark on the line when the Spartans traveled to Beaver Falls to face off with 3-3 Geneva under the Reeves Field lights at 7 p.m. Case has won all three meetings with Geneva since rejoining the PAC in 2014, including edging the GTs in a 16-14 defensive battle in Cleveland a year ago. Bethany, Grove City, and Waynesburg all have the weekend off. That's all for this edition of the PAC Football Report. Please log on to the conference website at www.pacathletics.org anytime for the latest news, scores, statistics, and other information. You can follow us on social media via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links are available at the PAC website. I'm Emily Bondi. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the stadium.
You're watching the Westminster Cable Network. Armstrong, New Wilmington, Channel 72. Comcast, Newcastle, Channel 183. And Armstrong Digital, Channel 204. WCN, the Westminster Cable Network. Visit WCN247.com for all your campus and community news. Or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/WCN247, the Westminster Cable Network.
Thank you for joining us on this segment of Titan Athlete Weekly. I'm Emily Sechrist, and this week we would like to recognize some outstanding players for your Westminster Titan athletic teams. The women's soccer team shut out Bethany College 3-0 in a packed contest at home Wednesday evening for its fifth straight victory. Titan senior goalkeeper Laura Page earned the win with 90 minutes of work. Westminster will next compete at Washington and Jefferson College at Saturday, October 21st at 1 p.m. The men's soccer team lost 1-0 to Bethany College at home Wednesday night. Seniors John Clark, Grant Gangan, and Zach Walters each had a shot on goal. Freshman goalkeeper Chance Urbis collected a career high of 4 saves in 90 minutes of work. The Titans are back on the field Saturday, October 21st at Washington and Jefferson College at 3 p.m. The volleyball team won both matches at Chatham University's tri-match Wednesday evening. Senior Lexi Yoho earned a team high of 18 kills, followed by classmate Kendall Dixon, who led the defense with a match high of 12 digs. The team is back in action Friday, October 20th at home for a packed showdown against Thomas More. Start time is 7 p.m. Catch this segment next week to see what your Westminster Titans are achieving in their sports. I'm Emily Sechrist.
All right. Give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry. I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner. My name is Justin Wilson. Here with me today, sophomore wide receiver Connor Cox. Connor, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. So let's get into it. You guys played Grove City this week, homecoming. Kind of a slow start for the offense. How did the receiving corps and yourself personally help out with that?
I think we just kind of stuck to what the plan was, stuck to the script, and trusted that we'd pull off some big plays and spark the offense. And blocking downfield for Paul's 89-yard run, or however long that was.
Yeah, it was long.
But blocking for the running backs and eventually catching some passes and sparking some big things.
So let's talk a little bit about Paul. Paul, he did run that big draw. We were in on that play. Mm-hmm. Can you take me through exactly what you did on that play while he was running?
The call was one draw. Again, that's that simple. And the receiver next to me ran a bubble route, and I blocked for him. As soon as I looked in, I saw Paul cut up the field and get going, and I tried chasing him, but he was flying.
He was gone. So, back to homecoming. What exactly, Westminster's a school all about tradition. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of tradition, a lot of alumni. A lot of alumni come back for homecoming. What does homecoming mean to you?
To me, I'm a big family guy and brotherhood guy, and I think homecoming kind of relates to that, and everyone coming home and seeing what the school has evolved to and stuff like that. It's a big family kind of event.
Yeah, and to talk about family and the team and stuff like that, the receiving corps is a tight-knit group. I mean, there's how many of you guys There's a lot of you guys at this point. I mean, last year there was a few, not as many. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing, what is that? How does that affect the team to have such a tight knit group?
I think if you have a couple position groups that are tight, then as an offense we become tight, and as a team, defense and offense become tight. So I think that's important to play for your brothers, and I think especially in the wide receiving corps, we have each other's back. We block for each other. We run routes, set other people up, and I think we have a real good relationship, and it helps our team out a lot.
So talk about one of your guys' fallen players, Javon Hardy. He's been out for about 8 weeks now. How has that had an effect on the receiving corps, and maybe even you personally?
Having someone to look up to. I mean, when I came in as a freshman, Javon was a junior, and initially I looked up to him because he was my position, and he's from Maryland. We actually played in the same conference, but Javon going down really hurt our team with depth and a deep threat for sure. Having him and his blazing speed just run down the field, it hurt us losing, but I think we're kind of playing for him now because he can't be out there, so we can't make any excuses. We got to go out there and do it for him and kids like Adil. So
yeah, exactly. Another injured wide receiver, Adil. He basically tore everything in his leg, and that's got to be hard for someone who's also a friend but also a teammate to see.
Yeah, it was hard to see and hard to think about, and still think about it. And I mean, any given play it could happen to anybody. So,
and let's just talk just a second about Coach Box. He's your guys' kind of leader. He's the wide receiver coach. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little about. He's really inspiring. He's kind of crazy, not really crazy, crazy in a good crazy. Tell me a little bit about Coach Box.
From the first day I met Coach Box, we hit it off, and we have the same mentality. We're both very headstrong, and we clash sometimes, but it made us closer, and a really good relationship with Coach Box. Coach Box has a real good relationship with all the wide receivers, and we love Coach Box, and we trust everything he has to say, so just kind of do everything for him.
Yeah. I mean, he is, he played Division I football. He was a quarterback. So I bet there, is a good relationship between quarterback and receivers. Yeah. Even though he's not your quarterback, you think that helps at all?
Yeah, he knows what he would want as a quarterback, so he knows what we should do for Paulie. And I think that helps us with routes and blocking and stuff like that.
So let's talk about, W&J. It's a big game this week. Big game. Last year you guys beat them for the first time in a long time. Mm-hmm. How, tell me a little about how are you preparing for this game?
This week's all about physical because we're getting late in the season, and legs and the rest of my body is starting to ache all the time. So getting in the ice bath, rolling, that's been a big thing this week. And mentally preparing, watching a lot of game film, a lot of practice film, meeting with coaches after practice, before practice, during the day. It's a really big process, but it'll all pay off on Saturday.
And how do you personally prepare? Like, I'm not talking throughout the week, but before the game, for big games like W&J.
On game day, I usually get up, and we go to church, and then I go to breakfast. Don't really talk much on game day. I eat a couple honey buns on the bus down. That's my game day ritual. I eat some honey buns and then go out there on the field real early. Me and Joe Salmon mess around, have some fun, get loose, and then start focusing in and zoning in from there and get ready for the game.
Now, not to go off subject here, but last year you got a lot of publicity with the news, Twitter, everything. Has that started to simmer out, or is it still around? Do people still recognize you and stuff like that?
Yeah, I went home for our bye week. I went home week 3, and a couple of my teachers brought it up again. And I think last week actually it was on BuzzFeed again for top 10 mom moments of the year, something like that. So it's still a little around, but obviously not as much as it was.
Are you okay with that? Did you want to be in the limelight, or
no? After 2 or 3 days, it got real old, and answering emails and phone calls. It was pretty painful after a couple of days.
I bet your mom was still kind of excited.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
That was a good mom move. So you're from Maryland. We were talking about that. And Javon's from Maryland, and I believe Adil's from Maryland too. Did you guys all play in the same conference?
No. Javon and I were in the same conference, and Adil was in his own, and Christian Caldwell was in his own. So, yeah.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's actually a lot of kids from Maryland. We just have a certain amount of Florida kids. And can you tell me a little about that? Like, you guys are all pretty close?
Yeah, we kind of call it, we don't call it anything, but we have like a rivalry, I guess you could say, like Maryland, PA, Florida, like. It's kind of a competition. Like if a Maryland boy makes play, that's your boy, but if a Florida guy makes play, like, he's from Florida. Like, it's kind of like a funny competition we have going on, but we all love each other. It's all games.
Yeah, it's all fun. Yeah, cool. So you play 2 sports here at Westminster. You play football and baseball. You guys got a new coach this year. What do you think? I mean, are you pretty excited for the season?
Yeah, I've met with him a couple of times and met with the assistant coach a couple of times. He's a great guy, seems to know what he's talking about, and we're real excited for what the season has to come. We're ready to go.
I mean, how do you, last season was, I think, a lower season for you guys, but this season, are you expecting to,
Yeah, we're expecting to do a lot better than last year. We have a different mindset, I think, going in. We're a lot more dedicated and serious. I've seen all those guys putting in work on the fall ball season.
Obviously you can't practice right
Exactly. So, but they've been putting in a lot of work, and I'm sure I'll be putting some work this winter to catch up to them. But I think we'll have a good season this year. Should be good.
And what position do you play in baseball?
I'm an outfielder and a little bit infield. Yeah.
Okay, so you gotta be fast for that.
A little bit, yeah.
So, are you a Redskins fan?
I'm a Ravens fan.
Oh no. So who do you predict? I mean, with all the Super Bowl coming up, stuff like that. Not really coming up, but who do you predict winning this one?
I don't want to vote against Tom Brady because he's the greatest, but I don't think they're going to pull it off this year. I think I'm going to go with the Titans.
The Titans?
The Titans are going to sneak in. They're going to get it.
I mean,
they're going for underdog. I'm a big Mariota fan.
I asked for a prediction, and that was a prediction.
Big Mariota fan. I think they got it.
And let me ask you this. There's a lot of talk about this taking a knee and stuff. Do you think that's getting away from NFL? I think that's kind of.
I do think it is getting away from the NFL. Like, I mean, kind of going off. Like, the NFL is by playing football, and I guess that's kind of off topic, but they can take a stand and do what they need to do.
Yeah. Well, you just got to do exactly what you said. And you guys, you here at Westminster, obviously, you guys don't, what did Coach Benzel or anyone ever say anything about?
No, I don't think he did, because there's no point in saying anything when there's not an issue. We don't really sit out we're not outside for the national anthem, so we just gotta let it go.
Exactly, yeah. Well, thank you for watching this edition of the Coach's Corner, Connor. It was great having you here.
Great to be on.
And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.